Salute, 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 everybody. Welcome to Switching Lanes with Miss Parker. Miss Parker. Hope everybody is having a blessed Monday. Shout out to Sister Belinda for sending me this um, to talk about because where we advocate for the kids so much and there's so much going on and so much added to it. Looking in these cases and things like that, you always got to say it's got to be more to it. It's got to be something else. It's got to be something else. So let me get this out the way. Please don't forget to hit that like button as you come in or pass by. Turn on your notification bells and share the live. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Writers, I do have a YouTube goal of 5. If you don't mind purchasing a super sticker or a super chat, it's an incentive given to content creators by YouTube, and memberships are also available. Please say hello to your neighbor as you come in. Thanks in advance. I got a couple of announcements to make. So the first one is the Rock Squad meet and greet is going to be October the 23rd through October the 27th. If you're serious, only serious inquiries, because the deposit has to be made to secure the Airbnb for everybody, and it could be enough room for those who want to attend. So you can hit me up on my Instagram, and I'll get all the information over and stuff like that. The deposit is $100 down, and then you'll have another $150 payment. It's $250 altogether. That's including toiletries, food for those 5 days, and everything. But only serious inquiries, because we have to put the deposit down and things like that. For the people that's just in the surrounding area that does want to come, it is a $30 cost to get food, so we can make sure we have enough food, because we will be cooking all 5 days. Also, it helps with the activities and stuff, the sip and paint and all the other games and things like that. And you do have to bring your own liquor and stuff like that if you're drinking. Other than that, everything else is covered and stuff like that. So that announcement, what is it? It was on the tip of my tongue, y'all. I forget. I had something else. Hey Top Flight sis. Hey Regina sis. Hey Ross sis. Hey Mocha sis. Hey Alma sis. We was up late last night. Hey Alicia. I was tired. Hey sweet honey. We had a good live last night. Hey Nisha sis. Hey Miss B. Hey Pebbles. What's going on? Hey Lottie. What it do, Pooh? My multi-sector family. Flex and Flash, salute, salute, salute. Hey, Shank Rock. Hey, Miss Minnie. Hey, SIT, my multi-sector family. What it do, what it do, what it do. Thanks for channel. Okay, Miss B, always. Hey, No Cap, what's going on? Tracy. Hey, Chris, what's going on? What's going on? Damn, I'm trying to think of it was something else important. I know the merch, Shanky is working on my website for my Gone On merchandise, fans and shot cups and wine glasses. I got that out the way. Okay. Okay. When we talk about these cases, you guys, it's always so much more, and it's always deeper down the rabbit hole and stuff like that. So Tribe Levi, Sister Belinda also had us break down the Franklin Credit Union, and I never heard of it. I had never heard of the Franklin Credit Union ever. So it was just like, dang, once I seen that, it was like, damn, that's deep. It was a lot of ex trafficking, missing children, mishandling of African Americans' money, because it was an African American credit union. So you guys, if y'all didn't watch it, go check that out, because it went pretty deep. I will be going live tonight. Tonight is going to be members only. I'm not changing my mind about it or anything. I'm strictly doing members only. Thank you, Regina. Thank you, sister. Hey, Lexi Pooh. My moderators will be the only ones that can come in without a membership, but tonight I want to do members only. I want to offer an incentive where I can be comfortable and talk freely and stuff like that. So tonight, it will be members only. Oh my goodness, prayers for you, sis. Oh, dang. It's crazy because a lot of people were saying they had funerals to go to their cousin's funeral last night, and that's super sad. It's super sad that down in the corner it's a dollar sign, Miss B. But if you're coming from an iPhone, I think they said Safari, you gotta paste it on Safari. If you're on a computer, I'm from a computer, I think Miss B. But it's gonna be my first members only live. So yeah, and it's gonna be my all nighter. I'm gonna be here all night tonight on my members only. Yeah, prayers to Rob. Prayers to Rob. And Sharita, if you after my sister Mariah, prayers to you, sister. I hope everything's going well. I know you had school and other stuff. For those who ain't feeling good, prayers to y'all. I know a lot of people saying their lupus is acting up, and that's what it just be. It's sad, but I know life is life, and right now, for you and stuff like that. So yeah, salute to y'all. Salute to y'all and prayers to y'all. I'm sorry to hear that. But Kathy Griffin, I even got a clip where Kathy Griffin has spoke out. But that Franklin Credit Union, I kind of dug into it a little bit and stuff, and I want to read a little bit more. And be mindful, you guys, of people dropping down in chats asking where's people's from and giving out locations and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's use discernment when it comes to these subscribers and stuff like that, because we just don't know who people really are. We haven't met everybody on this app to say who people are, to just be giving out information on anybody. So let's be mindful, because some of this content that content creators share, you don't know how it's affiliated to other people and stuff like that. And sometimes people don't want you to go deep down the rabbit hole as well. So just be mindful of that. To my riders, please, don't give out anything, and don't mention content creators' names in my chat. Please don't mention anybody's name. If it is in Mocha, Shank Rocker, it's my Mo3 family, and I'll shout them out as they come in, because y'all don't know who they are. But if it's not Mocha or Shank Rock, the content creators that do come in here, that I do know, don't mention nobody's name, and drop Mocha and Shank Rock's link. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? If you're a mod and you got a channel, drop that link. You could drop your link and stuff like that. But other than that, don't come in here discussing what another content creator said or anybody's name. And that's just it, and that's all. That's just how I feel about it at this moment. This is Pedophile Island, the darkest place in America. I've never heard of that, but it sounds creepy and it sounds scary. Lexi, it do. It really do. It really do. This app is just as dangerous as I'm glad I'm talking about this, because we don't know who is like that. We don't know what kind of monsters are lurking. That's why even as a content creator, you don't put pictures up of children and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? What up, Westside? What it do? But you don't put pictures of your children and stuff. It's sad that we can't really use our social media platforms. Yeah, I'm being harassed, Mocha. I'm being harassed, so so I don't want to be harassed. But we don't know when we post our kids' pictures who's lurking on Facebook, who's lurking on Instagram, just to see your kids' pictures. You know what I'm saying? We don't know. We don't know who these people are that hit the like or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it just be scary. It just be super scary. Hey, Allison, what's going on, sister? Thank you, Alicia. Hey, thankful. This the world we living in. Social media has set a playground for children to be preyed upon in so many ways. Game systems now. Come on. The game systems. And so much more. I heard people cussing all the time, asking their kids who they're talking to when they're playing their games. When they're playing their game systems, they're in a playground full of pedophilia. I need the schools to lock down those computers so only homework can be done on those computers. After talking about these cases and knowing that these kids are reaching out to people and stuff like that. Hey, Novi, what's going on? Knowing that these people are, I'm being harassed and I want to be left alone. Please leave me alone. So, on the game systems and stuff like that, y'all parents use discernment. Start getting locations. Start doing all of that. Any kind of thing to keep y'all together. Hey, kids, what up? and to get anything done to keep up with your kids on these game systems. Please. For the schools, we need hey Gwen, we need the computers to be locked to where nothing but homework and sites to get to do any work that's included with the curriculum for the day. That is setting up a whole lot of playground for our kids to reach the outside world. When it's in school, they should be strictly in school. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Strictly in school. But we're seeing with these cases that's where a lot of these kids come up missing. That's where a lot of the contact goes out, is at the school. Hey, Jug, what up, nephew? They supposed to be VPN blockers on the school computers and tablets. Hey, Tuda, but they're not. What up, Jug, nephew? But they're not. Because we just seen that, Regina. How did young Naziah reach out to Jarvis? They said it was the school computer. And that's dangerous within itself, to know that my kids is able to have outside reach to the world. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough that these, all these social media sites to meet the scary people. Hey, to meet the scary people and stuff online. That's crazy. It's scary. She said these kids find ways to go around it, and that's true. Alicia. But ain't there something we can do? Hey, Pooh. Ain't there something we can do as parents? We can go to the schools. Hey, I need to know how the system is for the tablets. I need to know, make sure my kids can't get on Plenty of Fish, Tag, and so much more. Are we asking the questions, or are we just going to keep the kids can get around it? No, we need to ask questions. Hey, Ish, what's going on, sister? She said they are supposed to, my nieces and nephews, if they try to click something, has a pop-up blockers. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Betty, I agree. That's why I ride my granddaughter's back so hard. She thinks I mean all I'm doing is my best to protect her from the monsters lurking online. It's a lot of, she said our school system has VPN on all tablets. So Mocha, tell me, how did Naziah get past that? Because even Alicia said the kids are getting around those VPNs. Because I thought so, Mocha, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I thought that the tablets were safe. The teachers have to monitor it. My daughter's laptops are locked down, but they got in trouble for sending private Google messages. Oh, wow. She said our system has a teacher police monitoring. I think so. Hey, Queen Gigi, I think they should. Thankful kids are finding ways to get around that stuff. It's getting scary, Chris. I'm telling you. Hacking. Now they're hacking. And I do think it should be security in there. Y'all take out school tax on our checks. Don't they take out school tax? So what we doing with the school tax? She said my daughter would email me and it came up as a text message. Wow. Wow, brand new. Check your child's browsing history home. The schools should not be, they shouldn't at all. At all. Because that means the school has to be held accountable. She had to have a private tablet because the school tablets and computers are monitored. And for some reason, I think that was her personal tablet. Hey, good evening, Sam. She said, be so involved that the teachers get tired of seeing and hearing from you. We need to make our presence known. Absolutely. Absolutely, kids. She said, facts, nonsense for real. He said, I had a friend who found the way to get Facebook on his Chromebook in school. I've heard it, Chris. I'm hearing it. Hey, Tyler, I'm definitely hearing it. But let's take a look at the pedophile island. It's just creepy listening, just seeing the title of this video, pedophile island. Just, my God, I'm like, oh, not pedophile island. And I think about it, when the kids come up missing, y'all, in numbers from a state, in a city, because people were selling the numbers. She said, trust me, them teachers already know who is who. They pick the parents first, then the child. She said, when I was in school, the only thing we could do on the internet was get on Google. Why would the school turn it over to her and not the police? Yeah. Hey, at Jeffrey Epstein, I'm going to see if I can play that for y'all tomorrow, because I got a couple of kids stories. I'm going to talk about a couple of kids tomorrow for my news wasn't a word. And then I'm going to get to that because I got another one to do. But Epstein Island, I want them files, Betty. Release them Epstein files. Release them Epstein files is what we do.
1976 and 1977, Mark Stebbins, Jill Robinson, Christine Mihalik, and Timothy King were abducted, held for days, and murdered. Their killer, known as the Oakland County child killer, has never been caught. Now sources are telling 7 Action News that a new suspect has emerged, and it's someone who is still alive.
I just didn't believe it was her until I went to the morgue to see her. My dad couldn't even identify her. All I know is I want to get a hold of the guy that did it, or whoever did it, because I love my sister.
Footprints here in the snow, on the steps, and fingerprints here on the door frame are among the physical evidence uncovered by the State Police Crime Lab. Right now, they're looking for a man believed to be anywhere from 19 to 25 years of age, 5'10" to 6 feet tall, very slender with a prominent nose, and dark, long, wavy hair.
It all began on February 2nd, 1976. Everyone thought it was an isolated case, but the murder of Mark Stebbins of Ferndale remains unsolved. His body turned up 2 weeks after he disappeared in a parking lot in Southfield. The 12-year-old had left his mother and brother at a social function, never to be seen alive again.
Not a day goes by, where you don't wonder and, worry about it, the whys and the wherefores, how long he had been dead before his body was found, who it was.
Based on the investigation at this point, Sergeant, what are your chances of catching the individual or individuals before an incident like this occurs again?
I wouldn't be able to put it in percentage-wise. There'd be no way for me knowing this, and I don't think anybody could put it in a percentage.
Tonight, our look into the cold case of the Oakland County child killer takes us on a road trip to North Fox Island in northern Michigan. Police were investigating a child pornography ring on the island back in 1977. Now, just months after 3 Oakland County children were killed and just weeks before another, Timothy King, was abducted.
The pornography operation was run by a man with ties to Metro Detroit, and police were anxious to find out if he was involved in those serial killings.
Yeah, one theory in the Oakland County child killer case is that it was part of a group of wealthy pedophiles who were trafficking in child pornography and groomed underage kids who became victims. A massive investigation led to 2 people.
Y'all notice the key word, wealthy. It's always money. And I'm glad Lateef said that the other night. He said, Ms. Parker, follow the money. Follow the money. When I was talking about Nazai Harris, he was like, follow the money. And boy, was he right. Because if y'all go back and look at the Franklin Credit Union that I did, it was money. Nothing but senators, politicians, the president. Ms. Parker, girl, if you look at the bird's eye view, it's the shape of an embryo attached to an umbilical cord. Oh my goodness. She said, wow, yep. Lord, all up in Michigan, the hook. Yeah.
Frank Sheldon of Grosse Pointe, who owned much of North Fox Island, and Jerry Richards, a teacher in Port Huron who recruited young boys to fly to the island on field trips.
I remember getting on the plane. I was so excited. Me and Mike and there's 2 other kids. I think one was a grade above us and one was a grade below us, if I remember correctly. And I remember landing. I remember getting our stuff, getting our cabin, and within an hour we were naked on the beach. That's just how it was. If you live on an island, this is how they do it. And there's cameras, a lot all over the place, really.
It's the case that's haunted Metro Detroit for more than 3 decades. 4 children abducted and killed along the Woodward Corridor in the mid-'70s by the infamous Oakland County child killer.
Christopher Brian Bush was a convicted pedophile who lived in Bloomfield Hills. The 7 investigators were the first to reveal Bush's autopsy report after he allegedly killed himself inside his family's Bloomfield Township home.
I'm J. Reuben Appleman. I'm the author of The Kill Jar, the first book about the Oakland County child killings. When I was a child in the 1970s, somebody tried to abduct me, and I got away. Nothing happened, but at the same time, they were looking for a kid killer outside of Detroit, and I grew up wondering if that person who tried to abduct me was the Oakland County child killer, the alleged Oakland County child killer singular. What I later learned after I started digging into the case was that this appeared to be multiple people involved in the abductions of these 4 kids in the 76 and 77. Yeah, I spent 10 years researching that case. This was not a lone maniacal serial killer the way everybody wanted it to seem in the 1970s or the way the police wanted it to seem in the 1970s, but multiple people were involved in these abductions and with multiple strings to other, fucked up things that we know about. Fox Island, Cass Corridor, power rings, and, a lot of people, when you talk about this shit, they think you're just a little bit over the edge. But there's only so much of the traditional narrative that you can believe in once you start looking at the documents related to this case. The prosecutors, the political system at the time in Detroit, they knew that. They were covering for people, and, the big story of the book is that was true. But in 1976, Mark Stebbins was abducted. He was found beside a dumpster in Southfield, Michigan, which is right outside of Detroit. He had been raped. He had been in captivity for a number of days, and nobody knew anything until he was found, and they claimed there was no evidence. They claimed he was not sexually assaulted, but documents later showed that he was.
It all began on February 2nd, 1976. Everyone thought it was an isolated case, but the murder of Mark Stebbins of Ferndale remains unsolved. His body turned up 2 weeks after he disappeared in a parking lot in Southfield.
Let's talk about it real quick. Y'all know with money, it's always going to be nothing. But he said with paperwork. And again, hey, Alicia, that's how it goes, y'all. When it's money involved and it's politicians and it's the higher ups. She said, wow, Detroit again. All over, Regina. It's all over. All over. This is disgusting. It is. Y'all got to remember the Franklin Credit Union is in Omaha, Nebraska. Texas. Do y'all numbers in Texas. Look how many missing children. There's no way one person is taking that many children. No way. But the fact that they're covering up for these people. Do y'all homework tonight about missing Black children in y'all area. Just in y'all area. Not all over. Do your area. Do your city. Do your state. And we'll discuss the numbers tomorrow when I do the human trafficking in America. That's why it appears that nothing is being done in this day and age. This is a normal part of their society. Absolutely. Hey, Natasha, definitely a part of the society.
The 12-year-old had left his mother and brother at a social function, never to be seen alive again.
Not a day goes by, where you don't wonder and, worry about it, the whys and the wherefores, how long he had been dead before his body was found, who it was, where he was, what he had to go through. And yes, I'm still very bitter.
Between the time Mark's body was found and that interview was conducted, another youngster had entered what was to be a growing list of infamy.
Then shortly after Mark was abducted, Jill Robinson, a young girl, was abducted. She was also alone at the time. They found her body several days later.
From Royal Oak, Jill Robinson, 12 years old, was missing. She ran away after a fight with her mother. No one knows anything about the person she met on that adventure, only that that person is a killer.
I thought somebody found Jill. It's
Mrs. Robinson is especially worried because today, Christmas, is something that Jill was really looking forward to. She had saved enough money from her allowance to buy gifts. Gifts that still remain unopened.
I haven't seen her since, and I wasn't really very worried for an hour or so because she's very stubborn. And I thought she'll stand in the next yard and think about it and or go around the block or something. And then I thought maybe she went to visit her father.
In 4 days, it was the day after Christmas. Her body turned up in Troy. She was dead of a shotgun blast to the head. County Prosecutor Brooks Patterson told me the investigation would not soon end.
Still remain anonymous, but the investigation is proceeding. But I can't say that a suspect has surfaced nor that an arrest is imminent. I don't think the public expects these things to be broken in 48 hours.
48 hours passed once, twice, over and over. And while the search for the child killer continued, it happened again.
Months passed between these abductions. Many months later, Christine Mihalik was abducted. They found her body after being held in captivity for something like 19 days.
It will be a week tomorrow since Christine Mihalik disappeared while coming home from this store.
In those 6 days, the community has come to realize that a missing child in this area is not merely the problem of the parents. Most of those out collecting funds today have families also.
Y'all think we just go missing? Y'all really don't believe in black marketing with organs? She said, what about Adam Walsh, Miss Parker? We later find out John Walsh was a weirdo too. Let me look into that. Let me write that on my paper. I'll look into him. Naomi Campbell's Island. Definitely the Epstein. I want to do that. I'm going to do the Epstein. We're going to watch that tomorrow on my live, the Epstein from Netflix and John Walsh. Yeah. Y'all don't think Kanika Jenkins happened for no reason? Hey, Shelly. Y'all really think that Zach TV became unalived? He was too close. Y'all notice when you get too close? I'll check it later, Betty. Y'all notice when you get too close to something, all of a sudden people start coming to attack you. People start asking, what's your address? Where you from? You start seeing strange people attaching themselves to you. Look up Zach TV. It screams volumes. Hey, Morgan. She said, the story reminded me of the story of those kids that were killed in Atlanta. We had to watch those stories, thankfully, in the early 80s. Most were black and had 4.0 grade point averages. I'm going to do the Atlanta, I'm going to do that too. And you see the numbers, thankful. You remember the numbers on the Atlanta murders? My mama made us watch it. So she said someone's lying. My mama made us watch it when we go too far and she didn't know where we was or we didn't say yes, ma'am, quick enough for her to hear us. I've heard about black marketing, demonic, satanic, pure evil, drinking blood, eating certain parts, using our skin, the pigment organs, aligning with the essay, the younger, the pure, the tender, more potent. Yep. Albury said, yeah. Hey, Kimberly.
The money is being used for reward for apprehensions of persons or persons who are holding Christine. If it's not used within a year, if anyone should ask, the money will be turned over to the city of Berkeley for crime prevention against children in the city of Berkeley. And this is Chris's family's wishes. Okay. Thank you very much and good luck.
I think it's worthwhile. We have to find the girl. We need information to find the girl, no matter what the situation is. And that's why I'm here. I think this is the only way we can do it.
When 10-year-old Christine Mihelich never came home from a 3-block trip to a party store in Berkeley, within 2 weeks, she too was found dead, this time in Franklin Village. Local police department, state police, and the county began one of the most intensive searches in Michigan's history. And so with this scene now all too vivid in our minds, the search continued, but turned up nothing of importance.
Shortly after that, Timothy King was abducted. They found his body in a ditch.
The key to Timothy King's disappearance is still the rear door here at the Hunter Maple Pharmacy. This is where the youngster was last seen leaving at 8:30 Wednesday night.
Well, I want to say hi to Tim. We love you, Tim. God bless you. Stay tough. I have one other statement to those persons or person who may be with Tim. I don't know if you have children or if you want to have some, but please treat Tim the same way you would your own kid. Talk to him. He's a talkative kid if you spend some time with him.
The victim this time, Timothy King, age 11 of Birmingham, last seen at a party store 3 blocks from home, found a few weeks later on a dark roadside in Livonia.
Livonia police kept a mile-long stretch of Gill Road blocked and allowed only a select group of investigators near the body. Though no official statements were being made, the red jacket Timothy King was wearing when he disappeared could be seen from the roadblock. The police began checking license plates and cars going both directions on a mile-long stretch of 8 Mile Road in hopes that a suspect would return to the scene. As part of the routine, Oakland County deputies stopped and searched several people but turned up nothing.
Do you have any reason to believe that the suspect might still be in the area?
Nothing specific, no. But this type of crime, very often the responsible will return just to see what's going on.
I still feel the most important aspect is the investigation and get this animal off the street.
Oakland County became concerned, fearing it might be an ugly pattern developing. Residents' worst thoughts seemed to be coming true.
We received our call from Livonia stating a body had been found and that the clothing description was similar to that of our missing boy.
State and local police say they have no one man under suspicion yet, but they think he lives and works in Oakland County, is a trusted member of the community, and not just some ragged loiterer offering candy to kids.
And shortly after Timothy King was abducted, the abductions of these children stopped. They were all white kids from the suburbs of Detroit, but these were blue-collar suburbs. All 4 abductions happened over the course of...
Y'all heard what they said? It's very real, Jordan. It's very real. Did y'all hear what they said? Detroit. In Detroit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember him. She said facts. Black marketing definitely exists. I read an article about it in Michigan just last week. They were very rich with our organs. Hey, Kenya. Certain celebrities needing organs like Kitty's, who's Candy's heart, liver, eyes. Atlanta child murders. Yep, that's a podcast on it. We had to look at it. My mama made us watch it every time one of us went too far out. I think that's why Nick Cannon has so many kids, has organs and blood. And y'all notice how they get better? No, I'm not talking about Wayne Williams, love. Y'all notice how they get better? Yes, I was doing my students. Had my students watching it. You better. I ain't never heard that a wish about being a mod. I mean, a twin. Shit, said a mod. Black, Indian, Mexican, high demand. Hey, Gina. Absolutely. Very high in demand. Hey, sister. I was told today by officers that traffickers use children to recruit other children. I believe it. You better know it. They've been trained. They've been drugged. Again, pay attention to Zach TV. Go back to Kanika Jenkins. And they said Selena Gomez needed an organ. She was sick. Selena Gomez turned out to be Bill Murray's. Hey, Lovey. Hey, Kim. To be, damn, what did I just say? Bill Murray's niece. And Bill Murray, come to find out, Bill Murray owns the restaurant in that hotel. Look how the news jumped on this story. Hey, Diane. 8 Mile has been famous. Road Freak. Yep. There's a lot of scary stuff going on. I told you, Detroit again. Yeah. I was telling Mocha about the rings from between Ohio and Michigan. It's obvious. I didn't even know my state of Kentucky was it. I never knew. Even though they're reporting all over, they keep mentioning. Y'all notice that? They do. Hey, Rye. I do North Carolina. I'm fighting lupus real bad. But look at the age groups. Look at the age groups, y'all. I do see them getting better, and I don't know how because I'm fighting lupus real bad. Oh, wow, dang. She said, what? My mind blown now. I'm in Michigan. Nothing has changed. It's horrible. The numbers up there are horrible. I always heard that bad things about Rosemont Hotel in Chicago. Hey, Bridget, what's going on, Bookie? Detroit reminds me of Sodom and Gomorrah. Every time you look up, it's a story. And you got to think, too, why are they so significant? Think about the border. Look at Texas. Go to Arizona. And you got to think, hell, we can't even get through without a passport, correct? We got to go through so much. So how do kids get smuggled? is higher than us, is bigger than us. That's why you look into these stories, they're bigger than us. Yeah, they was, Lovey. Yeah, they was. They say I-70, the main route. I've always heard that when I read it. Hey, Shining Light. Well, my county on point for returning children to their families, even though they found unalive. I just got my offer letter with X. I'm about to sign it. It's official. Hey, congratulations. Go on, Bridget. Hey, baby, thanks for introducing the Shankers platforms on fire. Look forward to checking it. Thank you, Diane. She said we can take our eyes off our children. We can't take our eyes off our children. Know where they are, who they are as much as possible because it only takes a second. Thank you, Miss Bieber, for becoming a member. God is so good. Prayers is not the last resort. It's only the resort. Okay? Mocha, thank you for turning me to me. Thank you, Mocha, and thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Eno. I appreciate that. Thank you. Hey, Joe, what it do? And I appreciate my Mo3 family for pulling up. Thank y'all. It's always good to see y'all. All right, let's get back to it.
"13 months. At the time, the citizens of the area were terrified. Nobody knew what was happening, only that these suburban white kids were going missing, and there were no witnesses, allegedly. Nobody knew why, allegedly. There were no sexual assaults on these victims, allegedly. They just thought somebody was abducting kids to kill them. Everybody was terrified, pretty much. There were posters put up everywhere. It was the beginning of the era of stranger danger. Eventually, there were some witnesses, alleged witnesses, that said they saw a certain type of car, a blue gremlin. They saw a certain type of guy that they thought was the abductor. And these posters on lamp posts and in shop windows were put up everywhere with a sketch of the guy and a mock-up of the vehicle, the blue gremlin with the white hockey stripe.
There were tire tracks found at the scene of where they found the body of Christine Mahalik. Smash the gremlin at all?
Not to my knowledge, no. We would hope that you wouldn't start speculating in that area, okay? We're telling you what we would like you to know. And if you speculate, you could ruin things for us.
We had a customer in the other day that had been stopped. The police and state police stopped him, and local police too.
How do you take it?
In stride. He was not happy. He was not upset, but he was not happy about it.
Despite all the bad publicity and new car AMC dealers are not happy about it, blue gremlins with the white stripes are still being sold. In fact, one was sold here today in Royal Oak.
So my girlfriends came over one night and they said they saw a man out there looking in my car. I came out off of work one time and there was a guy looking out in my car, but that was it.
You do get some strange looks.
Yeah.
It's got to affect business, especially on the blue gremlins. But I would hope that something would happen shortly where this thing would be settled.
We know now that there were multiple cars involved and multiple people involved, but at the time, there was a pretty sizable manhunt on for this alleged person. Millions of dollars of resources were spent. The FBI was helicoptered in. 300 investigators were working on the case at the time. They took over a part of a shopping mall to set up their headquarters, and they allegedly never found anybody related to this case. And at a certain point in 1978, the task force related to this case eventually closed shop, saying they had lack of resources.
It's virtually another police department with one solid goal: this crime. You take a look at that, and that school building has every indication that it's practically an independent police force. It has everything that every police force has. It has all the equipment and all the experts that are necessary to run one police force, and a very large type police force.
Well, you have something like 50 agencies involved right now.
That's correct.
Would you want to try to draw like one man from each agency, or would they be primarily state police detectives?
No, we'd be writing the grant, and it would be our understanding that this would allow for local law enforcement and the technical aspects from the county and state. In other words, the bulk of these individuals would come from local law enforcement people.
But now you say that...
But by the way, someone would have to subsidize the salaries of these officers, because you have to understand that a long-term investigation, they either have to pay out overtime to replace that body at their station, that detective's abilities to handle their cases. So what we're saying is that we know that it's not going to be an easy matter to resolve this, and we have to have money for a continuing long investigation.
Think about it, guys. And thanks for everybody that's sending in donations. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for real. Think about it. How many kids have thoughts? Lack of resource sound more like they didn't really want to look into it. But how many black children go missing? How many black children go missing? Do we hear about it on the news? You look on polls. You look in gas stations. Hey, Wish, thank you, sister. Thank you for becoming a member. Yes, it's embedded in our hearts, Kimberly. When you love your children, I don't understand these new moms. She said a lot, more than we know. How many black posters do y'all see coming across? How many black families, pictures of kids missing do y'all see coming across the screen on the news? What up, OG Poke Dog? What up? What it do? How many? You don't see none. You don't see none. You know why? That's the way of trying to extinct us as a race. When you go do the statistics of abortions, why do y'all think Donald Trump stopped it? I'll wait. Hey, Amina Nisi Poo. Think about why he stopped abortions. Do your numbers on black people doing. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you. Thank you for sharing the X money over here, sister. Think about it. How he's stopping abortions? Why? We was populating. We was populating. And we was populating. But guess who was populating more than us? Who they just sent back? Absolutely, Betty. Who was overpopulating more than the black people? Hey, Lady Leo. The Mexicans. They was overpopulating America. When you go do the statistics and look into your homework, you will see. And I said, And it started being the white women that was speaking out about this. Population growth. Right, Lady Leo? You're on everybody. You're on every day, thankfully. I gave you your props, Auntie. Thank you, Amina. Love you, Nisi Poo. Hispanics. Yes, Betty. Guess who was in the clinics, honestly, more than us? Let's go, Lovey. Diane, because it's the truth. That's why what president has ever came in and gave us a right not to abort? That's a choice. Hey, Nick. That's a choice. In Arabics, absolutely, Regina. He got on that so quick because we was dominating America. But remember, our organs are rich. Why do y'all don't y'all look at us and people go, damn, I didn't know you was that age. Gosh, I said, my hubby said that's why fish has been put out, population over crowd. Burke has been put. They own more properties and stores than we do. To kill the population growth. Yep. These predators are everywhere. They watch, follow, and know your routines better than you do. We got to be alert at all times. And how many of us looked and seen the white women with their kids on a leash and laughed? They're like, oh, would never. Our ancestors breastfed their babies. Look at our color. Look how youthful we look. Go get a crackhead right now and get a white crackhead lady and a black crackhead lady. White women age 10 times over the time that we change. I learned about this in rehab. I'm 53 and people don't believe it. Lady Leo, you don't look it. She said, I'm going to put mine on a leash. They're waiting for our children in Walmart. Why the cameras never see? They can see you stealing now. They can see you taking that cheap shit. But they never see where them kids went. I've been around a few corners because I'm old as dirt, and never have I seen anything like this in my life. They age like bananas. They do. They do. As mixed, and let me tell you, white crumbles like sand, and I'm rusty. Bridget, you're beautiful. No, Bridget. It's a difference, Bridget. Do your statistics. And do your homework. Go outside in the streets. Y'all know how many times people I went to school with, and they on drugs, and I'd be like, damn. They look like they're in their 60s. I had one over here in the chat stalking me. She was only 36. I'm 47, and she looked 56 or 66 at best. And this is not to ride down on her addiction. This is being honest. I think about when I go to the store, and I used to get mad about getting carded to today. I'd be like, I'm 47. I'll be 48 this year. Every time I look, I said, damn, I'll probably be 50 in 2 years. I'm going to be 50 in 2 years. Versus us, when you heard the industry, what you see them do, getting Botox, lips plumped up. Everything plumped up. We come naturally like that. What we don't have in one area, we make it up in the next. We get flyers placed in our mailbox when predators are released from jail and living within a 5-mile radius. And to be a school right up the street, Mocha, huh? In the lower incomes, it'll be a school right up the street. I know. I live by many. We used to run their asses up out of our community. Don't let them sit on the porch think they even looking at my kids. And we are well seasoned sugar because I'm 47 too, and folks don't be believing me. Okay? What 80s baby say? What she say? I missed it. Hey 80s baby. Hey 80s.
Up to 6 months.
Here, what I'm interested in is as long as we have the manpower, we've got enough cars and gas in our cars and paper to put in the typewriters, we're going to be in business. And if it comes through, we're going to be in business for a long time.
We would like to continue it until we can resolve this case.
Do you have any idea how much money that would be?
We are presently working with people in the LEAA program to adopt the monies and the grant application that would be necessary. Every member of the task force feels that someone has to know outside of the guilty individual, has to be aware of the facts and circumstances, maybe of not all of the crimes, but certainly of one.
The Oakland County Task Force was disbanded near the end of last year due to a lack of funds. The consensus? That the killer was either dead himself or gone from our communities.
Look at them in there working, y'all. Mocha, we don't get I never got a notification since I moved. I don't get notifications down here, but I used to in Kentucky. Look at them in there working double overtime, y'all, to find out who done this to these kids. Where is our funding? Who is working to find our children? Yeah. I sat and looked up PDFs in my area, and I was always confused as to why PDFs are not allowed in neighborhood. Why do you allow them to live? They're just registering as cool, I think. Not. I'm right behind you, okay? Borderline. Jordan, I'm not an 80s baby child. I'm way beyond that. Man, me too, Lizzie, my love. Me too, Mocha. Straight 70s, straight 70s. Hairline pushed back to the asshole, sick of it. Stop that. But where's our funding? Perfect example. I mean, not allowed to be around children then why are they allowed to live in the neighborhoods? Exactly. Nobody. Mocha, what y'all say about the statistics? Regina, what y'all say about the statistics? And somebody from Detroit is in here. What y'all say about the statistics in Detroit? She just said how many came up missing in Cleveland? Where's the people in the room with phones? It's okay. Hey, Miki. Thank you, boo. You do too. Beautiful. Until Latif brought it up the other night and told us to look on the registry list, and Dior sent it to me and told me that was, she said, Nick very well seasoned. And told me, she said, Kim, I'm 68. Look at my melanated sisters in here looking beautiful. And Bridget, you look beautiful. You not rusted nothing. But it is, if you do your statistics, you'll see a difference. Going out in your street, in your neighborhoods, in the lower income communities where drugs is taking over, you'll see a difference. There is no funding for missing or exploited back children, because when we go missing, they have unlimited resource. Come on, of organs, etc. Absolutely. Okay, Sam. Let's go, Todd. Okay. She said, I haven't gotten a notification since I don't get one here, Kalila. Okay, Minnie. My sister's black and proud. Sorry about that, y'all. Y'all looking amazing. Man, kiss you too. But do y'all statistics. And I'm going to give y'all another example. Remember Natalie Holloway? Remember Natalie Holloway went missing? Every year, turn on your TV. Go back and do your homework on when she got missing. Okay, adjusted? We're not always seasoned, okay? 381 minors missing in Detroit just from the year alone. Look at them numbers, y'all. 381. That's not possible. I'll look at it, Lizzie. I'll look at it. She said in northeastern Ohio, there's 5,400 kids missing. How? How is 5,400 kids missing? Hey, Sharon. 5,400 just in northeastern Ohio. She got so much and still does, right? Don't forget they found them last year. To this day, sis, I wanted to ask a question. Remember, lady left her kids in the house for years and they never went to school. Nobody checked to see why they wasn't there. Don't you find that to be strange? Yeah. They don't care about us, sis. Late 60s, baby, I'm out of school and stay focused on everything, okay? And only 54 left to found. All over the news. All over the news. Okay, Christian, you take care of yourself, okay? Hey, Tracy, 59, okay? What up, Nikki Lynn? I sent a few. Oh, yeah, the mother was armed. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'll share that tomorrow. That's just in northeastern too, girl. 5,400 kids in northeastern Ohio. Kidneys, hearts, livers, lungs, etc. are being taken from these children. She said, ain't no way everyone ran away. Not 5,400. Not 5,400 in Pontiac. Not 5,400. But y'all do y'all statistics on Natalie Holloway. They talked about her up, and every year she has a celebration. They spread it across the news. The only reason why Relisha Rudd down here in North Carolina, where I reside, is being talked about because the blue lady went to the bar and got drunk and told everybody she unalived her with her sister and her father. It's the only reason why Relisha Rudd didn't go do the Relisha Rudd story. I talked about her. How long she's been missing. If that girl didn't say that at that bar a few months ago, Relisha Rudd would have been another story never to be heard again. Just another black child missing. How many are declared runaways? Let's go. A lot of people are selling their kids. A lady got arrested for selling her baby for $500. And it was an African that sold her for $5,000. $5,000. She went missing in 2005. And it's 2025 and they're still talking about her, sis. They're still talking about her. But what about all these other kids? When this Naziah Harris case is over, guess what? It's over. When Kimani Latigue's case is over, it's over. It's over. When that many children are missing in certain cities, more than likely that is where they're trafficking, selling organs, God knows what else to Bohemian Grove. Man, but they talked about her. They kept her name alive. They used skin for burn patients. Absolutely, Lady Leo. Absolutely. Over 6,840 kids removed from their homes and placed in foster care or awarded from the state from 2023 to 2024. And y'all ever do y'all statistics on those cases? They don't be that bad. But where the cases are bad, the kids get to stay until they're unalived. These ain't all runaways, and that's facts. Never. 5,000 kids ain't woke up and said, I'm running away today. She said Texas, in 2024, 6,945 new missing child cases were filed in Harris County and 9,109 in 14 County, Houston, Galveston region. London, 12 years old. She said, that's crazy. Look at them numbers, y'all. Skid Row in California. 2,000 missing or ran away. Jordan. Can't tell me nothing, y'all. She said, I'm going to have to say I'm proud of our crooked cops in my county as soon as they hear a child that hit the pavement. But it's not happening everywhere, Regina. She said, my biggest fear as a mom. Me too. Me too. They'll go in your backyard now to snatch your kids. We ain't gonna let it be left up. They're going. Jelly Bean came up here the other night and said they snatching them right out of Walmart in Texas. Never know who to call on because you don't know who you really put in danger. That's why people turn a blind eye in a sense. It is, Amina. Fact, so true. The cases that are bad, they leave those kids there. We did used to get notifications back in the days. We don't get nothing now. It's like you have to do your own research. Everything is hushed. When the last time you just honestly looked up pedophiles in your area? They sent CPS to my house, and I was the one being abused. See what I'm saying? I was going to mention skin, but most people cannot correlate how they use skin is used not only for burn situations, but for so many other situations, plastic surgery. Man, I'm glad you put that out there. Now I have to get a drink.
Possibly never to be found again. The task force had exhausted thousands of hours, hundreds of thousands of tips, and the mystery continued, and it continues today.
But at the time, it was the largest murder case in Michigan state history. More money had been spent on trying to find the abductor murderer than had been spent on any other case in Michigan history.
So why do you think they never caught somebody?
They already knew who had done some of this, or at least had partaken in some of this shit. We know for a fact that certain suspects that they had at the time were good for these murders, or at least for either partaking in some version of the abduction and murder or not had knowledge of the murders. So there were a couple of people at the time. Christopher Bush was the son of a wealthy General Motors executive. He had been questioned about these murders. He was facing criminal sexual conduct charges up north of Detroit. His wealthy executive father had managed to sort of get him out of most of the shit that he was in. He was partnered with a guy, Gregory Green, who had been convicted of something like 50 criminal sexual conduct charges in California. He had choked a kid, burned him, and thrown him onto the lawn of a hospital at some point. Shortly after his release, Christopher Bush and Gregory Green team up and they start molesting kids together. Both of those people were questioned in the OCCK case, the Oakland County Child Killer case. Both of those people failed polygraphs. Both of those people dimed on each other. Christopher Bush says in an interview with police, Gregory Green killed Mark Stebbins. Green dimes on Christopher Bush. They're failing polygraphs and shit, but it's stated that they passed polygraphs. Okay, now we know that on the night Mark Stebbins, the first abduction of the 4 Oakland County child killings occurred, there was a guy named Arch Sloan working late at night in the auto shop where he worked. He called the local police because he was already on their radar for some shit. He said, I'm going to be working late tonight. You don't have to stop during your rounds, because it was a small area and they would do rounds. If they saw lights on and shit, they would, roll up and see what's going on. He calls the police on the night early before Mark Stebbins is abducted and says, hey, everything's cool, man. It's just me working late at night. Okay, so Mark Stebbins is abducted. They don't put the pieces together or whatever. They don't think, oh, it must have been Art Sloan or something because he called the police. That's not how it worked. But later, they eventually catch up and they start questioning all kinds of pedophiles and whatever. They eventually pull some evidence from a vehicle that Art Sloan owned. That DNA evidence matches DNA evidence found on Mark Stebbins. It wasn't Art Sloan. It wasn't him. But Art Sloan, the night Stebbins is abducted, calls the PD and says, hey, don't bother me tonight. I'm just working. Later, they discover that DNA found in his vehicle matches the DNA on one of the bodies. Okay.
Sloan's Secret. A 7 Action News investigation reveals new allegations against the man named as a person of interest in the Oakland County child killer. A man who says Art Sloan molested him as a child is speaking out tonight only on 7.
His name is David Barney, and he says back in 1976, he lived across the street from the Sloan family in Southfield. And he says he was just 7 years old when he first met Art Sloan, who knew exactly how to lure little boys.
It took a little turtle. I'd never actually seen one in real life, and that's how I met him. He gave me a turtle. That was it.
David Barney says that's how his nightmare began, with a neighbor he now calls a master manipulator.
He was just the friendliest, kindest, doing anything he could for anybody. My mom got a set of golf clubs brand new from him. She thought he was just the greatest.
David says what Arch Ed Sloan did to him and other boys in the neighborhood destroyed him. He says Sloan molested him during a 3-year period, starting when he was just 7.
He just took away an innocence of a little child. And it's affected the rest of my life. All these years later, I never stopped thinking about it.
But David says there were those in Sloan's family who knew exactly what was going on.
I just know they knew. The mother knew, the father knew. They knew what he was doing.
David says his parents let him go with Sloan on fishing trips, and he says Sloan loved to drive kids around with him in his 1966 Bonneville. That's the car we now know contained hair that has the same mitochondrial DNA profile as the hair found on Oakland County child killer victims Tim King and Mark Stebbins.
And I'm glad Lalizi was talking about the bus, because the story I just did about the young lady that was 14 up in Cleveland, Ohio, she caught the bus, the city bus. And in a lot of cities, they don't have the they don't have school buses. You do have to catch the city bus, and he set it up. She said, I moved from Chicago to give my kids a better life. It's become just as bad being a single mother. It gets me paranoid all the time. Yeah, I got a story. Callie sent me, Miss Callie's Kitchen. My sister sent me a story. I'm going to touch that tomorrow about Chicago. Horrible story. Horrible. But put him on the bus, and that man waited for that young lady. He waited. He scouted out the church's system. He watched them kids get off that bus because she had to get on 2 buses. So he waited for her. And it was worse than Kamani Lateef. She was 14. Found in an abandoned house. And the things he did to that baby was gruesome. So we have to be mindful about that too. Yeah, we get Amber Alerts, but that's it. What about the awareness on TV? Yeah, the family knows.
When I saw the picture, It was almost like a horrible flashback.
The new evidence about the Bonneville came to light this week when Oakland County Prosecutor Jessica Cooper announced it at a press conference. The hair doesn't match Sloan, but the Child Killer Task Force wants the public to come forward with information about who Sloan may have associated with, the Bonneville, or any of Sloan's other vehicles.
Do you think Sloan was capable of killing someone?
For me, I can see that type of person he was going farther and farther.
David Barney says as a boy, he never went to the police or told his parents because he was scared. But he plans to go talk to detectives now. And he says he wanted to come forward to us in the hopes of helping other sexual assault survivors.
So we got Christopher Bush.
No offense, but if you're paying more than $30 a month on car insurance, you're getting ripped off. Everybody knows you can buy car.
Bush and Gregory Green. Then you got this guy, Art Sloan. And then you got this guy, Vince Gunnels, who's now, a middle-aged man, but was a teenager at the time. His DNA matches one of the bodies as well.
Before last night, we'd never even heard of him.
But now this man, James Gunnels, tops the list of people detectives want to talk to in a murder mystery that's haunted this area for more than 3 decades.
Who is this man police believe left a hair on the blouse of victim Christine Mahalik? His name, James Vincent Gunnels, a career criminal, identified by his multiple tattoos, both shoulders, both legs, a girl in rose on his chest, a sun on his right arm, a cowgirl on his left. They tell only part of his story. The rest comes from police reports. The defenders have learned James Gunnels grew up in Flint and was best friends with nephews of Christopher Bush. Christopher Bush eventually molested Gunnels at his northern Michigan cottage. Still, police refuse to talk about Gunnels publicly.
Go on the record in the press indicating the evidence they had and asking people to come forward.
When police looked into Gunnels as a suspect, they crossed the country, flying to a prison in Montana. He intentionally threw a polygraph test there, and when his DNA was a mitochondrial match to the hair on the body of Christine Mahalik, police shuffled some paperwork and had Gunnels transferred to a prison in Michigan, hoping the close proximity would give them more opportunities to get information, a move the families like.
I've been tearing myself up for 35 years because there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about this.
Police questioned Gunnels' cellmate, who told them that Gunnels claimed to be molested at 15 years old by a man that killed multiple people, and that he believed he was told the victims were children, and that Gunnels may have been minimizing what he knew about or his involvement in the Oakland County child killings. Today, Gunnels has served his time and is a free man living in Kalamazoo. The defenders broke the story for the first time ever, a DNA link between someone and the Oakland County child killer case. A man who is still alive, walking the streets. A man the defenders recently caught up with while hidden cameras were rolling.
They took that and they twisted it to their advantage. Now, do I feel I was a fall guy for them? Hell yeah. I feel I still am. To some degree.
This is James Vincent Gunnels, the only known physical link in the Oakland County child killer case. Tonight, you will hear him tell his story for the first time ever.
I'm done living in fear of what they have told people.
The defenders broke the story earlier this year. Police tested Gunnels' DNA against a hair found on the shirt of Christine Mahalik, one of 4 known victims abducted, held captive, and eventually killed in 1976 and 1977 by the Oakland County child killer. Gunnels is a mitochondrial DNA match, which means it's his hair or a relative of his on his mother's side. The families of the victims are certain Gunnels knows what happened. They want him ordered to testify before the grand jury under oath to find out what he knows.
Nobody seems to want to believe it, so.
Since breaking the story, the defenders have repeatedly asked Gunnels for interviews. Each time, he's refused. So he headed out with hidden cameras rolling. Find out more about the man who is the best lead in the 35-year-old murder mystery.
I told my story, Mike, 100%. Didn't add nothing now. The story.
We find Gunnels out riding his bike after being released a few months back from prison following a series of break-ins.
Y'all heard that? Pay attention to how the story's going. People want him to interview. If it wasn't his hair, it could be a fair. If it was one of us, we'd be locked up. They would never do DNA to see if it's any of our family members. I'm like Mocha. I agree with you, Mocha, about the chip. She said they'll chip these animals. They will chip these animals. They need to speed up the process of DNA as well. Absolutely. It's absolutely lazy. Kalila's everywhere. You know, they just need to let us get a street just because they keep letting him out. Look at him. He get to ride the bike, cow. He doing interviews. Think how bad. If it ain't his hair, it could be somebody in the families. Hey, misunderstood what's going on, Pooh. Pedophile Island.
Robberies and car theft. He lives in Kalamazoo now, and on this day, he's out looking for a job. He stops for a smoke break at a local rec center and continues on. When we approach Gunnels, we tell him we're from Local 4 News and are surprised when he opens up and starts talking.
My heart goes out to those families, brother. It really, really, really does. I don't feel that they were served justice through any of this.
Then stunned as he goes on in great detail about the evidence, the cops, and the victims' families.
I'm not guilty. There it is there. But at the same time, I know how the state police will twist words to their advantage.
According to police records, Gunnels' story is that he was a teenager at the time of the Oakland County child killings. He was molested by one of several key suspects in the case, a man named Christopher Bush. While the families of the victims and some police speculate that Gunnels may have been used to lure children to the car of the killer and forced to put the victims' bodies on the side of the road after they were killed, Gunnels says it is not the case.
I don't know what they're telling them, man. Right. You know, I don't. All I know is that I'm an innocent victim.
Gunnels says if his hair is on one of the victims, it's because he was in Chris Bush's car on several occasions, and somehow his hair was transferred to the victim's body. He says he never saw Chris Bush attack anyone other than himself.
I see right now on the record, I don't know what that man did to anybody else.
Gunnels has thought about telling his story to the victims' families.
At one point, I was going to sit down with the families and talk to them,
insisting he feels terrible for them.
I couldn't imagine having that happen and not know for all these years. I really could, really could.
Especially because of the way police have handled the case.
By them to keep people thinking, well, yeah, we're working this case, we're doing everything we possibly can.
He does not trust investigators on the task force.
Over and over and over, man, I say to myself, that's corruption. That's these people doing some things to twist the truth, man.
Saying interrogators tried to trick him.
They're legally allowed to tell me anything. They can lie to me, say anything they want. Whether that was their motive at that time or not, I don't know.
Gunnels tells us he has nothing to hide.
I can't incriminate myself if I'm not guilty.
While insinuating he knows so much more.
I wish I could tell you that. I really do. I mean, seriously, I am right now. I'm getting emotional about thinking about things that I wish I could say. And I wish the public knew.
Right now, Vince Gunnels is in and out of prison. I think he's in right now. Art Sloan is in prison. These two guys are both alive. Christopher Bush and Gregory Green are dead. I'll get to that in a second. But currently you got two guys alive with DNA matches tied to them. They're both in prison right now. The police have not charged them with anything. You've got Christopher Bush, who is a primary suspect at the time, the son of this wealthy executive at GM. And GM was like the heart of money in the world. It's like saying his pops worked for Apple, was a high up VP at Apple or something or whatever. GM at the time was the center of money in America. Detroit was the center of money, the auto world. He allegedly commits suicide right in the middle of being interrogated, so to speak. Right in the middle of all this investigation, Christopher Bush is the number one person to look at. All kinds of evidence lead to Christopher Bush and Gregory Green, and then Christopher Bush ends up dead. And very shortly after that, the task force shuts down, claiming lack of resources. They give no other explanation. They say they have no evidence. They say they have nothing. They say they have everything you think of as evidence. Let's say they look for blood, no blood. DNA, no DNA. They didn't know DNA back then, but it's the same kind of shit. Semen or whatever. Hair follicles, shit like that. They claim they had nothing, man. And when I started digging into those documents, I can't believe it took me digging into those documents, which is kind of crazy. I don't even understand how it went decades without anybody actually getting those or looking into them. I saw that they had all kinds of evidence. They had blood, they had semen, they had saliva, they had fingerprints, they had clothing, they had all kinds of shit They already had the DNA matches, but they were still publicly saying they have no evidence. So that was very funky, man. And immediately upon looking at those documents, I thought, oh shit, they covered this shit up. I actually like the police, man. I like the police. I appreciate what the police do. I am not a police hater. So like, when you're talking to a guy like me who says the police covered this shit up, they lied through their teeth, I'm telling you the truth. I want nothing more than to say the opposite. But there were police that covered this shit up and lied through their teeth. And that's still going on, man. There is currently, right now, another DNA match that nobody is talking about because they don't.
Who he says involved? Who he says involved? He said, who's covering it up? So y'all mean to tell me that with this Naziah Harris case going on, she just disappeared. Nobody knows nothing. Nothing. It wasn't given in 30 days and all of that for nothing. Nobody helped them. Nobody's covering it up.
Don't know because the police are sitting on it. And that DNA match from another of the bodies goes to a kid who was a teenager at the time of those murders, and he's sitting in prison right now for sex offenses. And that's a real thing that's happened that nobody's talked about. The TV show doesn't talk about it. No current YouTuber, no current TikToker, no current whatever. It's because nobody knows yet, except for an insider who told me about it, told me in detail about what they have right now. What I'm saying right now, there are 3 people in prison: Vince Gunnels, Art Sloan, and this other sex offender, all with DNA ties to this case. And the police have not yet put the grip on any of those people and said, look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to charge you as an accessory unless you tell us what's happened. I mean, it'd be so easy. You take Art Sloan out of his cell and you put him in a box and say, tell us now what the happened, or, you will die in here. And Art Sloan might say, well, I guess I'll die in here, because he's already, probably dying in there. But you take somebody like Vince Gunnels, who was a teenager, he was a molestation victim of Christopher Bush. Very many of us think that Bush and Green used boys to lure the girls. And those boys probably partook in some stuff. They know some shit. Vince Gunnels knows some shit. His DNA was found on one of the bodies, and he was a molestation victim of Christopher Bush and Gregory Green. Take Vince Gunnels out of the cell that he's in, put him in a box and say, look, brother, we're charging you as an accessory to these murders because we have your DNA, we have all kinds of shit, and you won't ever get out of prison. Or tell us what the happened. But nobody has done that. It's very suspicious. What all that anybody who studies this case can say is that they don't want the answer, because then they have to say, yeah, all you, quote, conspiracy theorists or whatever were right for 45 years or 50 years. It was Chris Bush, and it was Gregory Green, and it was Art Sloan, and it was these other guys from Cass Corridor, Ted Lamborghini, and it was Richard Lawson, who they gave a badge to as a confidential informant, and he used that badge to go around molesting kids in Detroit. And it was Frank Sheldon of Fox Island. But Frank Sheldon, sitting in Amsterdam after absconding from Fox Island, who knows who did? He's sitting over there in Amsterdam, and before he absconded, running from the law on Fox Island, he was associated with Ted Lamborghini and Richard Lawson and Christopher Bush and Gregory Green and all those in the Detroit area. Frank Sheldon was sort of like the silent partner, let's call him, There's no way in hell Frank Sheldon didn't know who a year later.
This was crazy. I say it sound like Diddy, but what about the Playboy Bunny House? What about that? Y'all remember seeing all the young blondes and brunettes in that house with that old man? Laying all in the bed with him, and he was having those big parties. Where do y'all think it started with Diddy? The Playboy Mansion was one of the biggest. I used to be like, oh my God, them are kids. Y'all remember Kenya? Hey, Renita. Y'all remember Kenya and her and her husband? Mr. Hefner's house. And you remember her loyalty to Mr. Hefner, even when she was married to that mixed boy had them kids. Talking about grooming at its best. The Playboy bunnies do the story. Absolutely, Jordan. Absolutely. And you will see politicians, the elite of the rappers, the elite. Everybody couldn't go up in Hugh's house. Everybody couldn't go up in Hugh's house. See, Diddy got too far with it. He let everybody start coming to the parties. He was a Jarvis Butts with money. Hey, T. He was a Jarvis Butts with money. When Diddy had that little blue girl on his channel that day, and he said, oh, she was homeless, why you didn't bring her mother too? Nobody said that? Why you didn't bring her mother too? Why you just didn't put them in the house? You got enough money? You got enough money to put them in a home. But you know about you adopted her. I was like, wow. This is real. This is real. Her husband was wild too. But I'm talking about her niece. Go do her age when she was up in Hugh's house. Go look up Ken's age. Hey, Mary.
Was killing these kids. Of course he did. Christopher Bush was the main suspect at the time. They pulled him in because he was looking at all these criminal sexual conduct charges, which he was found guilty of, along with Gregory Green. Interestingly enough, Gregory Green gets life on the same sexual charges that Christopher Bush gets probation for. You know, we can look at that and go, what the f*** happened here? Or we can go, I know what the f*** happened here. Christopher Bush is the son of a wealthy General Motors executive, and Gregory Green is a guy who already did time in California for this shit. Okay, so we'll give him life. But Christopher Bush gets probation on the same shit and $1,000 fine for molesting kids. He gets $1,000 fine. So that's what it cost to molest kids back in 1977, $1,000. And, however, possibly your life. Because what happened was Christopher Bush is sitting in a polygraph room with an independent examiner at first. He fails the polygraph. The independent examiner doesn't mention this. It's not his job to mention this. He's in a confidentiality thing. We only know this because decades later, this guy comes out and say, hey, Christopher Bush failed that polygraph, actually. But Christopher Bush is looked at as the main suspect at the time. Why? He seemed funky, man. He was looking at all these other criminal sexual conduct charges, and he was a shitty witness for himself in interrogation. And he and Gregory Green are diming on each other, and things just seem f***ing off. And Christopher Bush had, a year earlier, driven a similar car to the blue Gremlin they were looking for. He drove a Chevy Vega, it's the same car. All kinds of things were pointing at Christopher Bush. Okay, the cops allegedly didn't know much about Christopher Bush, except that he looked like he might be associated with this, and they were still trying to press him a bit. But then what happens is Christopher Bush is reported as possibly being in trouble to some degree. His housekeeper shows up at his house. He's living with his parents at the time. He's in his 20s. The housekeeper shows up and she can't get in. So she calls Christopher Bush's brother, Charles, says, hey, there's something weird. I can't get into the house. So they think maybe something's going on with Christopher Bush. Charles calls the police and says, something's wrong. Can you go to my house? The police show up. This is the official narrative anyway. The police show up and they gain entry into the house and they find Christopher Bush dead in an upstairs bedroom. Allegedly from suicide. The weapon is a long gun, let's say 2 feet long. Allegedly, he hooked his thumb into this big gun and he shoved it into his head and shot himself or whatever. But at the alleged scene, they find ligatures and there's a picture of Mark Stebbins on the wall, a hand-drawn picture. Well, of screaming in pain, by the way, Mark Stebbins, the first victim. We say, well, gee, it's hand-drawn. Are you sure it's Mark Stebbins? It looks exactly like Mark Stebbins. So somebody who could drew a picture of Mark Stebbins. Christopher Bush wasn't a great artist, though, so it's interesting. But somebody who could drew a picture of Mark Stebbins and tacked it on Christopher Bush's wall. And in the closet, they found ligatures. And they also found a suitcase full of all of which has been either destroyed or hidden right now. They claim they lost it. We don't know what's in the suitcase full of child pornography that was found at the Christopher Bush alleged suicide scene. Nobody knows who's in those photos because the police claim they don't have it. We don't know where if there was blood on the ligatures that would later match any of the victims because the police claim they don't have the ligatures. And we don't know if there were fingerprints or anything taken from the drawing of Mark Stebbins to match to Christopher Bush or anybody, because nobody knows where any of this shit is. So we're talking about the largest murder investigation in the state history, and your main suspect is found dead with ligatures, a drawing of the first victim, and a suitcase full of and allegedly all of the evidence is lost later.
So behind us right now is the former home of Christopher Bush, Chris Bush, the main leading suspect in the Oakland County child killings. Now, Chris Bush has been tied to North Fox Island. He was the son of a General Motors executive. So this guy had political power and a lot of money behind him. It's interesting. We've been driving around very rough neighborhoods in Detroit, looking at these other places. And then you come out here to this, I don't even know what you'd call it. It's like
suburb.
Yeah, but it's like Stepford Wives, like everything's perfect.
Very affluent.
Yeah, very rich area. And it was in this house where Christopher Bush was murdered. Now, the official report says that Chris took his own life. We don't believe that. I didn't believe that for a second when I read the story. The multiple shell casings found in the room, the lack of blood at the crime scene. But it was reported that Chris was doing things out of this house. We don't know if he held boys here, how much child was found in the home. We know that a lot was when they searched Christopher's residence. They found those images, a suitcase full of them, and films. But this is where he died. Now, was Christopher responsible? Was he a patsy? You don't know, but it's a weird contrast to go through all of these rougher neighborhoods where all these kids are being trafficked around, and then you come out here to the main suspect's house, and it's like money, rich. Shows you that money can buy anything, as disturbing as that is. And I wonder if those people know what happened in their house. It's eerie, that's for goddamn sure. Like, I wonder if these people's families have been here for a while, if they knew Bush and all
if
that.
the people who live there now know the shit that went down in that house.
Who knows? Whatever truth he had took it to the grave, and I think that was the point of getting him killed. Crazy, though. Crazy to visually see all these elements of a story that you've read so many times in my case.
Honestly.
All right.
So Christopher Bush has a picture of the victim, which is enough. He has ligatures, which is enough if they would test for DNA on that shit. He has a suitcase full of child, which is enough. The murder weapon is given to his father because his father says he wants it back. But he writes an IOU to the police department saying, I'll give this back to you if you want it. But they let him have it because he's H. Lee Bush. H. Lee Bush, the General Motors executive, his father, was also rumored to have been a procurer or a user of boys who procured them from some of the known suspects in this case. So let me paint this in another way. Christopher Bush grows up with H. Lee Bush, who is an alleged and rapist. H. Lee Bush and his peers at General Motors were involved in a little bit of a child sex ring, we think. Like, do I have proof of that? No, but we have dozens and dozens of people talking about it at the time. Not today, but at the time. And so was that shit ever looked at? No. Christopher Bush grows up with that man. Christopher Bush then, early on in his adulthood, is known to have molested one of the children of his brother. And then later, Christopher Bush is molesting kids all over the state. And looks good for one of these murders and is then dead. And nobody can prove anything happened with him or whatever because he's dead. What we think in the community of people who really study this case is that it's very likely that H. Lee Bush, the General Motors executive, his father, or one of the associates of his at General Motors, who were rumored to also have been involved in a pedophile ring, took Christopher Bush out of the picture because there was a lot to lose should Christopher Bush sit in court and talk about everything that he knows. It's scary to think that the father of this guy, who was only in his 20s at the time, would have been.
The Social Security Administration has made a small burial fund available to every senior.
Complicit, if not active, in his murder, but it looks like Christopher Bush was murdered. There was no gunshot residue on his hands. There was no, all the usual stuff, whatever it is. We could spend an hour talking about it, but it looks very much like father and the people at General Motors that were involved with his father and their sexual activities with children knew what the was up. Like Christopher Bush was going down for these murders if he were to live, and they couldn't have that happen. And that sounds a little crazy. Where you think, well, yeah, but what kind of people rape children? I mean, we don't know. H. Lee Bush was never convicted or charged or convicted of anything. But there's a lot of statements saying that, yeah, man, this guy used to get kids for H. Lee and all that shit. In fact, we know that Christopher Bush's mother showed up in a limousine to try to bribe Vince Gunnels into not talking about his molestation by Christopher Bush. And Vince Gunnels is the one who has the DNA on one of the kids. But it's all laid out in the documents, at least the accusations. I'm not making up shit. Nobody ever came to me and said, hey, man, you just slandered me, because it's all in the documents. They all know it. There's not a single cop, not a single relative of the Bush family. Nobody ever came up to any of us who were writing about this shit and said, hey, you got it all wrong, because it's all right.
Look what it say, y'all. Y'all see what it said? It said Detroit 2024. Let's stay right there. Detroit 2024. Chapter 1, the Bible.
Our first stop here on the hunt for the Oakland County child killer brings us to suburban Detroit. Right here, we just circled this parking lot. We determined is where the first victim of the Oakland County child killer was dumped. Mark Douglas Stebbins. He was 12 years old, and on February 15th, 1976, his body was recovered. If you follow me right over here. I'm gonna turn the light on so now I can kind of see where we're stepping.
It was right on the other side.
He would have been found right here. We actually took a look at the crime scene photos, and Mark's body was found right next to a brick wall. So this wall looks to be old. This is right. Yeah, this is definitely right where his corpse was found. And if you actually, it's pretty crazy, man. If you come back over here, obviously I'm gonna blur them for YouTube, but we matched up the building itself right back there. That's the original building that was here back then. And we matched up the crime scene photos, the orientation of the detectives in the photos, and it points to his body being found literally right here. Now, I'm not going to 100% say with confidence that it was right here with this wall. Like maybe they removed some of the wall at some point in time or something like that. But I'm 99% sure it was right there behind that brick. Remember, with the Oakland County child killings, these children were dumped. They were not killed here. The mystery is, where were these kids killed? And obviously, since this is unsolved, who killed them? It's just wild to be here in Detroit. Like, this is a case we've wanted to cover for a long time. And to see the building and then connect that to the crime scene right there. It's haunting, man. Right?
I mean, the scariest part of these stories is that the person who did it is never been found, and there's probably even more than we even know of.
So our goal tonight, this is our first night on the ground in Detroit. We are going to employ a spirit box, an Ovilus device, and at some point an Estes method to see if we can speak with anybody or any spirits who are in this area who could point us in which direction we should go to investigate these killings. Now, obviously, this is a dark and very sensitive subject, so we're going to approach this with tenderness, with appreciation of the lives that were lost, with sensitivity. But we're doing this because we're in the pursuit of the truth here, and this is a story that I really think needs to be talked about more because the answers are right there, and yet nobody wants to acknowledge them. Let's get our stuff out, man. By the way, guys, we are joined in this video by Exploring with Josh.
Hey, guys, I'm ready. Now, mind you, I don't ever do murder cases, so this is my first time joining you guys on this, so I'm excited, super excited.
Yeah, we've been talking with Josh all day, kind of blowing his mind with the details of all of this stuff and what happened, because it's you guys are gonna see in a bit, it's really deep and dark.
Dude, no, like when they showed me the article, I had to read it like 100 times for it to stick in my head because it goes so far. I didn't even know, like there was so many dates, I kept forgetting things. So it goes pretty deep.
You see, the whole point of this is not entertainment. We actually care about this story and we want to help try to tell it and use tools that maybe it'll give us something that the investigators have never gotten. There are psychic elements to this case that are really intriguing. I don't know what that means. First two words on this device that came through were radiation manufacturer. Christopher Bush, the lead suspect, worked and ran a sex trafficking ring out of a power plant in Michigan. And that's like a lot of the people involved in this were involved in the energy. I don't know if it was nuclear, but same difference. Yeah. Manufacturing energy. I think that's that's a big part of this story that we didn't even cover yet.
Yeah, I don't even know about that yet. So that's actually, all right, you're telling me something I don't even know yet.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, actually. So let's just start this. Whoever's here with us, we're here to treat you with the most respect possible. Weirdly timed noises from over there. Four, dude, four alive. I don't know what the alive. I don't know what that means.
But it said four.
Four. There are four.
Yeah, it's four.
Four. So, I want to introduce ourselves. My name's Colin.
My name's Connor. And I'm Josh. We're good.
We're just here to ask you a couple questions. If there's somebody here with us, can you tell us something about the abduction that happened here, the body that was found?
What? No.
The first word that came through.
Now, guys,
whoa, dude, I got
device really quick.
Yo, I actually got goosebumps from that, man.
What is that device? So we can tell everyone. It's like an ovulus. An ovulus?
Dude, look at my. Oh my god, dude! All my arm hair is standing on end. That is fucking insane. Yeah, it's basically fluctuations in the EMF energy in the environment will go through a algorithm and give you a word.
Right.
Is the first word when we ask about the abduction.
And I want to play this, you guys. Let me play this. Because if y'all remember a few years ago, Kathy Griffin got blackmailed. I don't know if y'all remember the comedian, white woman, Kathy Griffin. She got blackballed. And you wonder when they get blackballed, you be like, but why they getting blackballed for speaking about the industry and what's happening with the kids? And they always get blackballed. Look at Cat Williams. He got blackballed. And when you remember Kesha, y'all remember Kesha? The white girl that came out and started singing, and she started talking about her being essayed and what they made her do for her contracts and stuff like that. And we ain't heard from that little girl since. And it's always things to make you go, and think about what really happened. Let me get it. Let me play it.
Organ that is in demand.
The heart.
Hold on. Nope.
It's the number one organ that is in demand.
The heart.
Nope.
Kidney.
Nope.
The number one organ that's in demand. Organ. I said organ. The number one organ that's in demand. The number one organ in demand. If it's not the heart, it's not.
And brown and black people are targeted for this organ.
It's not the heart. It's not the kidney.
The largest organ of the body. Skin. And because we're brown and black people and we have so many different variations of pigmentation, and especially in times like this where wars are going on, and look at where the wars are, and people are getting burned and bombed, and fires have gone on even in the United States. We have this now phenomenon of all
What'd she say? That was like the heart, the kidneys. And Bridget came in here early and said, no, the skin. The skin. Things that make you go, Things that make you look into things and say, Bridget definitely said the skin. She said the skin is used for so much. The black skin. Ain't that scary? And when you think about it, I will play crazy too and tell it. Yeah, the skin. They don't want us to speak out. Okay, what else is Detroit known for? Yep, good old-fashioned pimping. Should we keep going about Detroit and the connect the dots? That's what it was for. That's definitely what it was known for, Latif. That's what it was definitely known for, Latif. Remember, it was one of the richest cities. And you got to think how. One of the richest cities. Yes, 100% correct. They used our skin for shoes during slavery, chairs, and so much more. Nothing has changed. Oh, and it's used for so much more now. You heard Bridget say specifically procedures. He can come for Cat, but Cat's agenda is different than Orlando's with Cat. It is about them trying to take his children. With Orlando, it's his pride. She said Detroit is wild. I don't want to go through or close to it. Kimberly at all. Oh, well, are the ones, not the two, no joking. She said, I'm in Grand Rapids, and Detroit is most definitely highly known for the highest sex trafficking, etc. Mary is coming up quite often. Every live I've looked into, you heard what Terrence Howard said, once they take your manhood, it's over. But Regina said it. In every one of the cases that when I look into these lives, Detroit's always on there. Detroit's always the number one in Ohio. Those numbers that y'all put in the chat alone earlier spoke volumes to me. I really wanted to come and give y'all just the opening and awakening, because I'm going to talk about the circus ring later. For my subscribers, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all, but I'm doing members only tonight. I got to do a members only tonight. We're going to talk freely. We're going to talk with no interruption. And we're going to have real dialogue and real conversation tonight. Because that circus ring is so important right now. That's because it's closer to the border as well as Ohio. And let's not talk about Florida. And Texas. Don't forget Texas, chick. Don't forget Texas. Exactly. Cat don't care. He's going to talk regardless. She got blackballed for speaking the truth. And that's why I told my daughters not to be models. As little girls, I said no to pageants. Using their school pictures, my son had nurses always tell me how pretty my kids' skin were, and I would side-eye them. And y'all notice they do say that? He said, unfortunately. Y'all know how many times would you saying that, Belinda, how they'd say, oh, your skin is beautiful. And I never thought about it till you just said something, Belinda. She said, I posted what was happening on the border, and Facebook wouldn't let me post for a month. Look who's over Facebook. Who is the owner of Facebook? She said, yes, she disappeared. Who's the owner of Facebook? I'll wait. And don't forget, he was trying to buy TikTok. Ain't that funny how he was trying to change Facebook and the owner of TikTok gets unalived? I mean, the owner of Cash App gets unalived. Because Mark was trying to start his own card. Mark was trying to buy him out. He wouldn't sell it. He wouldn't sell it. He would not sell it. And he wanted TikTok. And y'all notice how they like skin and kidneys. Who's the owner of the internet? Skin is the largest organ on the body. Absolutely. It's used in medicine. I used to hate that you have beautiful skin. Well, what kind of skin am I supposed to have? Yes. He is a not so nice person from what I've read upon. Why we can't talk about the border? It's nationwide. Don't forget about all those kids they took from their parents when they had them parents down there in cages. Where's them kids? Where are their children? Arabs, Indian men, when I would go to the malls, would follow us and Tay and hold conversation with me. I would say I'm American, I'm black. And y'all notice one thing about them Arabics, and pay attention to the owner of that hotel in Detroit. We're going to talk about that. You know what? I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that. So for my moderators, y'all will be in there because it's members only. To my members, thank y'all so much. To my subscribers, I might release it later on in the week, what we discussed tonight. I don't know yet. But I do want to start off with my members a safe place to come and kick it in, whole conversation. And we can talk about whatever on members. We can talk about whatever on members. So I'm going to see if Shankrock can set it up where you can't even watch it. You can't even watch it. And the only thing about that, 11. And the only thing about that good, sis, because you got to buy a membership to watch. You hear me? So can't anybody just watch. Thank you, Lovey. Thank you for becoming a member. But yeah, we're going to members so we can talk. I want to talk about the circus ring in Detroit. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Thank y'all so much for pulling up and just getting this clip of it. It's a 3-hour video, but I think for the most part, take something from this. Take something from the Franklin Credit Union up in Omaha, Nebraska. And then look at this video, just the first beginning. And take something from it. Okay? Everybody go enjoy the rest of your day. It's raining here. I'm going to try to rest because I'm going to be up all night. And also remember the meet and greet. The Rock Squad, how do you become a member? It's a $sign down at the bottom. Chick. Alicia, can you tell her how to become a member, please? Hey, goddess. Yeah, we're going to just kick it. I just want to kick it on members only. I think we deserve to be in a safe, peaceful place tonight. Did you hear of the 3 bodies today? Right, I see through you. Oh, yeah. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, let's play it. Hold on, guys.
Yeah, the Detroit Fire Department made the gruesome discovery after putting out the blaze. Fox 2's Camille Murray joins us live with the latest on the investigation. This is a difficult one, Camille.
Yeah, Hillary and David, really is a very horrific story, and police just don't have a lot to go on right now. Take a look. Right before 6 o'clock this morning, firefighters responded to a car fire in a vacant lot at 30th and Milford on the city's west side.
Once the fire was extinguished, they observed 3 bodies in the vehicle. All 3 burned beyond recognition.
Police working to figure out what caused the fire. Was it intentionally set? Who are the victims? Were they killed, and then did someone set the car on fire?
Right now, we don't know anything other than the vehicle fire and what was inside the vehicle.
Right now, authorities are asking the public for help with this case.
The Detroit Police Department Homicide Task Force is handling this investigation. We're asking for the community's assistance and help. If you've seen anything or heard anything, please call 1-800-SPEAK-UP, or you can go to DetroitRewardsTV.com.
A lot of work ahead of them trying to figure out who these people are, what happened as far as what led up to this, who these people are. They men, women, young, old. Dental records, of course, shedding some light on that if possible. But really, if you know anything at all, if you were in this area, if you saw anything at all, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Reporting live from Detroit Police Headquarters, Camille Berry, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, and Camille, this is, as we said right at the top, it's a really difficult one. I suspect that because of where the vehicle was found, there really isn't any surveillance video that captured anything. So that likely is going to be difficult for investigators too.
Yeah, exactly. But we went out there. You saw the video in the story. It's just a vacant lot. It's kind of a field. It's not even like on the road, so it doesn't look like they were in an accident and maybe they hit something and burst into flames. It doesn't look like that, right? Not a lot of houses in that area. A lot of them, the ones that were, some of them appeared to be abandoned. So, and not a high traffic area either. There were no businesses. We saw a couple churches. So really, police are going to, like I said, have their work cut out for them, and hopefully somebody knows something and does the right thing and calls authorities.
All right, Camille, very live for us tonight. Thank you so much.
Insurance companies do not want you to.
3 burnt up in a car alive. You know it's intentional. Nobody's going to burn up in their car. Nobody's going to sit in the car, I see through you, and just burn themselves unalive. Yes, the kids have phone number 2. The signal is right on them. They were supposed to go to. They have a person. Who has a person? Regina. Thank you, Alicia. Hey, Jametta. Who has a person? And she said, what kids was writing numbers? 3 people burnt unalive in a car on the west side of Detroit. Abandoned homes, as per usual. Abandoned homes. No cameras, just 2 churches. Hey, Dom. Another story in Detroit. Another story in the city of Detroit. Latif. Who was in that car is the question. Who's the 3 other bodies they found in that abandoned home with Kamani Latif? Why they ain't said that? Man, I couldn't. And Murray, you know that when that car company drops when they shut that car company up down up there, wasn't that GM? That was GM, Murray, wasn't it? And all the people lost their jobs, and you know what I'm saying, they couldn't afford the housing and stuff, and all them abandoned houses. I seen a documentary on that. I want to book a come on, but can't figure out how. It's not the link posted. It takes me to the YouTube page. Right here. She shared it. Right here. She said the link to join. If you find Alicia right there. If you find it, it's right there, Talina. Yeah. And they trying to see if people weren't alive before burnt, and they're giving a reward for $5,000 for more info. OMG, Regina. Yeah, thank you, Alicia. I appreciate it. Tribe down on the right corner, there's a clip. You was telling her. She said I had to do it from my laptop. Talina is to join, but oh yeah, the meet and greet, the Rock Squad meet and greet, because we're gonna pull up later and discuss the circus ring and more. We're coming back at 11. You know I'm gonna pull an all-nighter, sister. I'm gonna pull an all-nighter tonight. Announcement. Rock Squad annual meet and greet is October the 23rd through October the 27th. I know so many people said they wanted to come and attend, but right now we're in a position where we need the houses are going so fast, so we got 2 more spots for women. If it's a man, 1 more spot. And the deposit is $250 for those 5 days. Toiletries and food will be provided with that $250. Also, you just need to put down $100 in the next 2 weeks. You can send it to me and I can make sure Marty gets it to put down toward the deposit on the house. But serious inquiries only, because we got to put this deposit down to secure it for October for the meet and greet. And we're going to have so much fun. They already told me some of the games. It's going to be sip and paint. We're having a big dinner on Sunday and the balloon release for Shanquilla Robinson on Sunday. And it's going to be just epic. Plus, we get to meet each other in real life. So it's going to be super fun. So get with me if you're serious about coming, because I had a whole lot of riders that said they wanted to come. So I'll make an announcement again tonight and let me know. October the 23rd through October the 27th. And North Carolina's a vibe. Right? Why do you think they're still there? Now check the real estate and see why they weren't auctioned. That's a good one, Latif. That's a good one. A woman, her mother, and a 9-year-old. My God, Regina. Who was set people on fire, period? But a woman, her mother, and a 9-year-old. I'm like, Latif, why wouldn't them houses auction off? Miss Minnie. Look up Rios in Detroit. Those are bank owned. There's the information for the meet and greet. You just tap on that and get in touch with Marty and let her know if you're super interested to come. And Alicia's coming. My Alicia is coming. I get to meet Alicia. I can't wait for that. I'm excited. What are the police for? We solve crimes better than they do. Okay, Kim. Somebody owed someone. Somebody owed something, told something, or betrayed somebody. Absolutely. Absolutely. She's ready. I'm ready, Alicia. I'm ready. We got so much fun. A lot of the properties, the banks are still collecting insurance, even after 2008 recession. Tribe, you already know. A 3-year-old was found in the freezer as well. What? Oh, yeah, Alicia, you get to meet Nikki Lynn as well. Yeah. Alicia gonna say, when's the next one? Look, Nikki Lynn, when Alicia get done with us at that meet and greet, when is the next one? Yeah, we're gonna have a grand old time. Jamie's coming. Pee Wee's gonna be there. And so many others. That's crazy, ain't it, Kimberly? Chicks, the insurance is paid almost immediately. The PIM is upfront. She said, right. She is. Yes, April the 2nd. Banks don't lose money. Exactly, Latif. Exactly. That's something interesting to pay attention to, what Latif said. Why aren't they auctioning off the abandoned homes? You better let me know. We only got a couple spots left. Only two. Miss Parker, did you hear about the PO's mother in Portridge who left her 3 kids for 5 years now as defend? Yeah, Murray, that was horrible. Yeah, that was sickening, Murray. I ain't even gonna lie to you. That was the sickest. We losing, y'all. We're losing. And we're losing. And we're losing again. I don't know what to think, y'all. It's crazy. She said that broke me bad. Yeah, all these cases are breaking us, you know, Mary? They get harder and harder. But let me get out of here, guys. Go get out of here and get y'all dinner finished, get your kids ready for bed, because I'm going to be here all night on members only. We get to talk about whatever. Members only, guys. Members only. And the moderators will be in there, so y'all good. But members only tonight. We're going to chill. We're going to vibe. We're going to kick it. We had a good time this morning. We had a real good time. We was just tripping. You know, we had casual conversation at the end. We talked about some important things. We talked about Kamani Latique for a minute. And then it was a mother, her daughter, 9-year-old niece. Miss Minnie, you know what? The world is getting sicker and sicker, and she said, I'm going to go get a drink. Look at Alma. We had a good old time. You know we did, Alma. We had a good, fun time this morning. Latif was up in here. Dior, Regina came down for a minute. We had a good time. She said, I'm trying to become a member as well. I don't know where that link is. They dropped. Let me see if I can find it, Natasha. Right here. There it goes, Natasha. That right there. You got to go up a little bit under 80s and between Kimberly Scott. You'll see that link right there. I just want to chill. I want to vibe. And when we be in here all night, you know what I'm saying? I just want to vibe and relax. They were selling them in a lot of areas for $1. Then once they are renovated as an incentive, that will give the demographics tax breaks. And they put tax payments in order. Wow. Yep, sister, it is. Yep, members only tonight. Members only. Oh my God. I don't believe you. You had me up. How about you I'm up now. You gotta stay up. That was you. Had me up. Yes, many coupons in that car. Sad. The ex-boyfriend shot his girlfriend and her mother and stabbed a 9-year-old. Wow. She said, we shall see. You said, but I have to pay the subscription on the newspaper so I can pull up all the info. That's sick. I know I see through you. It's sick. It's sick. That's sick. That is sick. That's what I'm saying. Look at the world we living in. Look what's going on. Like, you shot them and then you burnt them up for what? You don't unalive them. Like Naziah, Kimani's father. He talking about you don't unalive them. Look, Latif, I done got my dinner done, y'all. Dinner's done. Dinner's done. Dinner is done. I got my done early. So I can be up all night with y'all, okay? But I want to talk about that circus ring with y'all. We gonna break it down tonight. We gonna break it down. My moderators will be in there. Just know, moderators, you will be in there, okay? And you can drop down whenever. And then set them on fire. Okay, it's nap and snack time. See you. Okay, Ryder. Okay, sister. I'll see you then. Dirty Red. Hi, sister. Love you. Miss you. It is. I hope all is well with you too. She said, mine been done. Yeah. I be going back down and eating the plate and stuff, Virginia. You heard me. Miss you, Dirty Red Vibes. She said, I just finished my dinner. Grandkids out getting showered, so I'll be ready, okay? What it do, Zen, sis? What it do? Okay, we'll be ready for tonight. Let me go. Denise, you'll be in there because you're a moderator. All moderators will be in there. All moderators automatically will be in members. Love you. See you later, Bookie. See you later. But we're going to break it down. I want to break it down, but I want to talk freely. Yeah, Latif, you coming up with me tonight? Fried wings dipped in barbecue sauce, fries, corn on the cob. Sound good, sis. She said, I love me too. What you cook? I made beef steak tips and rice and gravy and baked beans and peas. I love my peas. She said, I'm greedy. She said, love you more. This time, thank you, sister. I miss you. I missed it late. I'll start from the beginning. Okay, Jametta. For all moderators, remember, I'll see y'all later. Love you. I'll see you later on. Yes, I made stew beef, sis. Stew beef. I was on the phone with you, matter of fact. Sis, I see through you when I made it. See y'all tonight. I'm going to go grab me some drinks. Later. Yeah, you're a moderator. You'll automatically be in there, Latif. When you're in blue, you're a moderator. So you'll automatically, hey, Bookie. Hi, Mocha Boo. See y'all later. I will see y'all later. And all members, I will see y'all later. I'm about to put it on members only. He knows. Tribe. He knows. I don't know what it is. Miss Parker is the blue thing. Man, say. Go back to sleep, Latif, till later. Okay. T said he's gonna come up with me and break it down like a pound. Yes, I'll see y'all later. Set your alarm. She said 11. Let me get my outfit. Love you, ladies. Love you too. Man, Jen, he knows. Alicia, he knows. I'm sick of him. Yeah, let's break the circus ring down. It's a lot to talk about, and it's a lot of stuff that I found out that's came out, a lot of new information, and it makes you go, Now, how did this happen? I could see how it happened, but y'all know how I am with my thoughts. So I want my riders with me and my members. So I'll see you guys later on members only tonight. Let's have a ball and let's just have conversation. After we break it down, let's just kick it and talk. We're going to be here for a long time. Well, 10 yawns. After the 10th yawn tonight, I'm down. And I've been lasting. I've been lasting for y'all, okay? I've been lasting. Latif made me stay up. He bullied me to stay up last night, him and Alma. But we here tonight. Him and Alma bullied me in a top flight. They definitely bullied me to stay up all morning. They did. But I will not be bullied tonight to stay up. 10 yawns. 10 yawns. And I'm out. 10. And y'all know that it takes a while, you know what I'm saying, to build up 10. But 10 yawns. She said, I got my pen and notebook, highlighters, wine on chill. Trees rolled up and ready, okay? Yeah, you on Top Flight and Latif, y'all bullied me. Yeah. I don't know if Zen said something. I'm going to go back through the chat, but there was a couple other people I think bullied me. Yeah, get y'all pens, get y'all paper. Let's break it down. I see through you. We had a long conversation, and it was like, interesting. Members only. It's a private party. Let's go, Minnie. Yes, it definitely is. It most certainly is. Ain't nothing like a private party. You know what I'm saying? Kick it with your family and, just show off a little bit. And you can say whatever. You ain't got to worry about just regular subs dropping in. But I thought you said, oh my God, you said. So, no, I don't want that. I ain't got time. I'll see you guys later, though. Enjoy, and I will see you guys later. So get some rest, take a nap. You got plenty of time, okay? And I'll see you guys back at 11.